You've seen it before, but you don't admit it. The way her voice wraps itself around a lie like silk around a blade. The way her eyes water at just the right moment, not too soon, not too late. The way she touches your arm when she wants you to forget what she said yesterday. There's something ancient behind it. Not evil, just older than truth. You remember a dream you've never told anyone. A room with red curtains. A woman's silhouette seated with her back turned. She's humming, but you can't hear the tune, only the rhythm of absence. You open your mouth to speak, but she vanishes. All that's left is the perfume and the chair rocking slowly, as if she were still there. You've always felt that something doesn't match. Her words float upward, polite, elegant, practiced, but her choices, they dig, they devour, they return to something nameless. And every time you think you understand her, she becomes someone else. You are not losing your mind. You are finally hearing the animal cry beneath the velvet. She tells you she wants kindness, and yet she kneels only before cruelty. You listen with the ears of a fool, hearing the melody of her language but never its dissonance. You believe in the music, not the hands that play it. Her words come dressed in civility, in the smooth porcelain of practiced morality, but her choices drag their nails through the dirt. You forget that nature does not speak, it hungers. She may say she wants a gentleman, but her body betrays her. She flinches at softness and leans toward fire. There is no contradiction, only the lie she must live in public and the truth she obeys in private. You call it complexity. It is only instinct wearing lace. She smiles at the man who listens, but she gives herself to the man who ignores. What does that teach you? You say it's accidental, a mistake of emotion. No, it is the purity of selection. She is not deceived by your decency, she is repelled by it. Not because you lack worth, but because you lack sharpness. The world does not reward the gentle unless they are already kings. And you are a servant who calls himself moral, hoping that your dignity will be recognized by a creature that responds only to rhythm and heat. You mistake the dance for affection. It is merely the signaling of appetite. There is a moment you recall her face close to yours, whispering that she wants honesty, but when you gave her the truth, she went quiet, she recoiled, she vanished, because truth does not flatter, it exposes, and her entire script depends on the pretense that she is good, pure, above the game she plays. When you see through it, she does not feel known, she feels hunted, and like any animal, she flees. You believed that vulnerability would open her, but no, it made you smaller in her eyes, because her instincts do not reward confession. They reward distance, power, and the illusion of danger. You want to believe she is lost, a victim of mixed messages, of cultural conditioning. You want to rescue her from herself. But what if she does not want to be rescued? What if her contradictions are not wounds, but strategies? What if her softness is the mask she wears to confuse you while inside? Something far older calculates, waits, selects. She does not need your protection. She needs your blindness, because only the blind will kneel without question. And she does not want a mirror, she wants a stage. You've seen it. The woman who cries when the kind man leaves, but runs back to the one who hurt her, not because she enjoys pain, but because pain means consequence. It means weight. It means power. In a world bloated with choices, only what hurts feels real. You think she's irrational, but no, she's precise. Her instincts are tuned to detect weakness, to discard comfort, to chase the coldest flame. She does not choose the best man. She chooses the one who burns through her masks, even if it costs her peace, especially if it costs her peace. Every word she says is lined with myth, She speaks in the language of angels while dreaming of wolves. And you, naive soul, take her language at face value. You respond with poetry, with promise, with purity. You offer love as if it were enough. But love that is easy is love that is disposable. She needs to work for it, or she does not feel it. That is not her flaw. That is her mechanism. Her need to be torn apart by something stronger than herself. Because strength, even when cruel, makes her feel safe. A twisted truth, but a truth nonetheless. She tells you she wants peace, but peace is boring. Peace reminds her of death. What she truly wants is the illusion of peace wrapped around a storm. She needs to feel that you could leave but don't, that you could destroy her but won't, that you could dominate and sometimes do. The presence of danger creates the tension she confuses for love. You say she deserves better. She knows that, but she doesn't crave what she deserves. She craves what stirs her blood, and so long as you are too available, too open, too forgiving, you are invisible. Her smile is a mask, her eyes are a test, her body is a vote. You listen to her words and ignore the vote. She tells you, I just want a good man. But when the good man arrives, she feels nothing. She tries, she stays, but slowly, her soul dries up. She creates reasons to leave. She says he's too nice, too predictable, too safe. She doesn't realize she's describing a man without shadows. And without shadows, there is no contrast, no depth. You may be a garden, but she is addicted to the wilderness. Even when she chooses you, you are never secure. Because your worth is not measured by your kindness, but by your ability to escape her grip. When you pull away, she follows. When you lean in, she withdraws. This is not cruelty. This is the rhythm of desire, a dance of imbalance, of motion. You thought balance was noble. She experiences it as death. You thought equality meant harmony. She feels it as a lack of dominance. Not because she wants to be oppressed, but because she wants to be overwhelmed. Not by violence, but by presence. A man whose silence bends the air around him. And still, you wait for her to say it, to admit that her choices betray her words. She never will, because she needs the lie. The lie protects her from judgment. The lie lets her pretend she is moral, even when her instincts write another story. She has no reason to destroy that illusion. It costs her nothing, but it costs you everything. You twist yourself to fit her stated desires, while she judges you by what she cannot articulate. And in this quiet war between language and longing, you always lose. You have become the man she says she wants, and that is exactly why she doesn't want you. Because the moment you become obedient to her script, you lose the tension she seeks. The tension between danger and safety, between being seen and being hunted. You think love is about comfort. She thinks love is about gravity. And if you do not pull her in with the force of something unspoken, she will drift. Not because she is evil, but because she is orbiting something primal, something older than her words, something she herself cannot name. You thought you could win her with sincerity, but sincerity is transparent, and transparency reveals your hunger, your need, your hope. She can smell it, and it repels her. Not because you are wrong to hope, but because you are offering it like a beggar offering roses. She wants the rosebush with thorns, the one that bleeds when touched, the one that does not bloom on command, the one that grows wild and blooms anyway. You are too cultivated, too careful, too correct, and that, to her, feels hollow. This is the law she obeys in silence. What does not conquer her cannot protect her. And if you cannot protect her, she will not choose you. Not with her words, with her life. You watch her smile, and you believe in the illusion, that curve of the lips, that glint of affection. You think it means safety. You think it means warmth, but that smile is not yours. It never was. It is a performance she learned long before you arrived, refined in rooms full of other men who also believed they were special. Her smile is a mirror held just long enough for you to fall in love with your own reflection. You are not in her heart. You are in her theater, and the moment the play bores her, she exits without applause, without a final act, without remorse. She doesn't lie to you with malice. She lies because the truth would unmake the game. If she told you what she truly wanted, it would sound monstrous. Not because it is, but because you are not meant to understand. You were trained to see love as light. She was shaped by a world where power dresses itself in tenderness and then devours without guilt. Her need is not gentle, it is ravenous, it is unspeakable. And so she smiles, because smiling lets her pass as innocent. Because if she frowns too soon, you'll ask questions, and questions crack illusions. Every word she offers you is laced with plausible deniability. She says she loves attention, but not too much. She wants freedom, but also pursuit. She craves strength, but calls it toxicity. You believe these are contradictions. They are not. They are camouflage. They allow her to float between roles without ever taking responsibility for the wreckage she leaves behind. When she tells you one thing and does another, it is not confusion, it is leverage. If she keeps you guessing, you remain invested. If she ever gave you clarity, you would wake up, and she cannot afford that. Her power comes from your uncertainty. Your mind turns in circles trying to solve her, like a riddle with no answer. That confusion binds you to her. You wonder if you did something wrong. You ask if she needs space. You replay every conversation, looking for the mistake. But there is no mistake. There is only the realization that she does not need to be consistent. She does not need to be fair. She does not need to be true. Because your need to understand her is greater than her need to explain herself. You tell yourself she is confused, that she is lost, that she just needs time. But that is not truth, that is mercy. And she does not want your mercy. She wants your obsession. She does not need you to save her. She needs you to orbit her, to read her signals like a priest reading omens. She speaks in fragments so you stay chasing. She offers just enough vulnerability to make you hope, and just enough distance to make you doubt. This is not indecision. This is design. She chooses the man who gives nothing, who withholds, who leaves her messages unanswered. Because that man activates the ancient machinery inside her, the machinery that responds not to affection, but to challenge. The machinery that was built for survival, for selection, for the cold arithmetic of nature. You think her choices are about emotion. They are not. They are about signal and dominance, about who moves first and who stands still, about who offers their neck and who tightens the leash. And when she smiles at the man who bruises her soul, you call her damaged. But perhaps she is only honest in a way you are too weak to be. Perhaps she has stopped pretending that love is a garden. Perhaps she remembers what you have forgotten, that in the wild, nothing survives by being nice. Her love is not civilized. It is feral, instinctual, patterned by 1,000 generations of selection and silence. And every man who tries to enter with clean hands is rejected, not because he is unworthy, but because he is naive. You do not want to hear this. You want to believe in the fairy tale, that goodness will be enough, that vulnerability will be rewarded. But her heart does not respond to your morality. It responds to your silence, to the way you do not flinch when she withdraws, to the way you refuse to beg, to the way you remain unmoved, unshaken, unclaimed. You become the mirror she cannot control, and that terrifies her, Because if you do not reflect her, she cannot shape you. And if she cannot shape you, she cannot dominate you. She smiles because you are predictable, because you always answer, because you always care. But her eyes betray her. They search for something colder, something that does not need her, something she cannot tame. That is the hidden cruelty. She does not want to own you. She wants to lose herself in a man who cannot be owned. And if you ever give yourself completely, without price, without restraint, she will discard you, not because she is evil, but because you are no longer dangerous. And still, she tells you she's confused, that she needs time, that she doesn't know what she wants. But look closer. Her actions are clear. She cancels on you, but shows up for him. She forgets your messages, but remembers his silence. She says you're amazing, but sleeps beside indifference. These are not mistakes, these are votes, and every choice she makes is a referendum on your relevance. Her schedule reveals her truth, and her truth is simple. She does not value you. She values what resists her. You want to believe that love can be earned, that if you are kind enough, patient enough, attentive enough, she will see you. But she does see you, and that is the problem. She sees your hunger, your hope, your effort, and none of that creates desire, because desire does not respond to need. It responds to absence. You want to be her home. She wants to be haunted. You want to give her peace. She wants to feel the ache of longing. You want to offer a future. She wants to drown in a moment she cannot control. So she smiles again. That same smile. Practiced. Polite. Empty. You take it as a sign. But it is a warning. A warning that the game continues, that you are still on the stage, that the play is not over, but you are no longer the lead. She will let you stay. She will let you hope. But in her mind, the role has shifted. You are now the comfort she returns to when the fire burns her. You are now the listener, the placeholder, the man she praises in public but forgets in the dark, and the mirror begins to crack. You notice the flickers, the delayed replies, the forgotten plans, the way her eyes drift when you speak. You ask if something is wrong. She says no, but everything is wrong. You just don't matter enough for her to say it. And the longer you wait, the more pieces fall, until finally the mirror shatters, and you are left staring not at her but at yourself, at the man who believed, at the man who gave, at the man who waited for truth from a mouth trained to lie for survival. You were never her dream, you were her option, and she never wanted to be loved. She wanted to feel chosen by someone who didn't need to choose at all. She cries when no one sees her, but not because of love, not because she misses you. She weeps because her game failed again. The man she chased did not turn. The silence swallowed her charm. And now she is alone, not in sorrow, but in defeat. You imagine her sadness as proof of depth, but it is merely the exhaustion of performance. Her tears are not a confession, they are a strategy with no audience. And what is a performance without applause? Just noise, just water on skin, just loneliness pretending to be grief. You imagine she aches for the man she wronged, but she aches only for the feeling he gave her, the high of pursuit, the tension of not knowing. You want to believe you were the center of her pain, that you mattered enough to haunt her, but it is not you. It is the silence. The silence is the only man she cannot control. And in that silence, she sees herself not as she performs, but as she truly is unchosen, unseen, undesired. It is not heartbreak that breaks her. It is irrelevance. The cruelest man is not the one who harms her, but the one who does not need her at all. She remembers the way he looked at her, not with hunger, but with distance. and that distance made her feel small. She tried everything: softness, charm, coldness, need, but he remained unmoved. And in his stillness, he became a mirror she could not decorate. That is what destroyed her. Not rejection. Rejection is loud. It still tastes of power. No. What crushed her was indifference, the scentless void, the space where her perfume went to die. You never gave her that. You were always there, always ready, and because you were available, you were forgettable. The man she claims to hate lives inside her. His name is not remembered, but his silence echoes. He did not hurt her with words, he dismantled her with nothing. He let her spiral, let her question, let her invent stories to justify his absence. And the more she imagined, the deeper he carved into her soul. You think silence is a weakness, but silence is the only force she cannot argue with. It never defends, never explains, never breaks. And that makes it sacred. You spoke too soon, you tried to save her too fast, and so she threw you away like a gift given before the hunger set in. She builds altars to herself, photos, captions, gestures, offerings to a world that might still look. But each like, each comment, each passing man is just another echo. None of them carry weight. None of them make her bleed. And she needs blood to feel alive. You offered comfort. She needed chaos. You offered a future. She wanted suspense. You asked her how she felt. He made her feel without asking. You are her relief. He is her addiction, and no one ever chooses relief over addiction, not when the craving is still loud. You mistake her openness for intimacy, but what she gives you is scripted, filtered, designed to appear raw. Even her pain is curated, a visible fracture she can use to appear deep. But real wounds do not parade themselves. Real wounds isolate, and she does not want isolation. She wants sympathy without responsibility. You listened. You gave her that, and in doing so, you became background noise, a violin under her monologue, but she never played the music for you. She played it for herself. You were just the echo chamber. Her friends know. They see it. They ask her why she ignores the good man, why she chases the storm. She shrugs, says she doesn't know. But she knows, deep in the silence between thoughts, she knows. He made her feel afraid. He made her feel desperate. And in that desperation, she felt real. She touched the edge of something primal, something untouched by words or rules. You never gave her that. You gave her comfort. Comfort is warm and forgettable. Pain leaves marks, and she remembers only what scarred her. There's a moment she replays the last message he never answered. She reads it in the dark, pretending it no longer matters. But her heart still jumps, not because of hope, but because of humiliation. She gave something, he returned nothing. That imbalance was his power. That silence was his throne, and she still kneels before it in her mind. Meanwhile, you're still writing to her, still asking how she is, still proving your loyalty. She doesn't even open your messages anymore, not because you offended her, but because you didn't. She pretends to have moved on. Posts, pictures with new faces, new cities, new declarations. But every man she clings to is just a protest against the man who remains silent. Every new warmth is a revenge against the cold that still haunts her. And you are part of that protest. She keeps you around not because she wants you, but because she needs someone to prove she's not alone. You are her evidence, not her desire, her placeholder, not her passion. And if that truth stings, it means you are finally waking up. You wonder if she ever loved you. But the better question is, did she ever see you? Or did she only see what she could extract: validation, security, contrast? You were never the fire. You were the sweater after the storm, useful, warm, forgettable. And now that she no longer shivers, you are folded away. She doesn't hate you. She just doesn't feel you. Her body remembers adrenaline, not affection. Her mind rewrites memory around danger, not devotion. And you, poor soul, still write her poems she'll never read. You thought your love would awaken something in her, that if you just stayed long enough, strong enough, true enough, she would turn. She never turned. She never planned to, because what you offered was not missing. It was never what she sought. She seeks what tests her, what refuses her, what breaks her rhythm. And you matched her too well. You answered every call, smiled at every insult, swallowed every humiliation, and in doing so, you became predictable. And what is predictable can never be worshipped. She told you she hated games, but she only hated losing. When she wins, the game becomes her religion. And you didn't even know the rules. You brought honesty to a performance. You brought stillness to a chase. You brought offerings to a woman who only kneels for absence. And now you ask what went wrong. Nothing went wrong. You were just not the silence she could crave. You were the noise she could control. And no one respects what they control. No one desires what they already own. Even now, you want a reason, a conclusion, something to hold on to. But Schopenhauer would laugh at that. There is no closure, only awareness. There is no redemption, only withdrawal. You do not get to win, you only get to see. And what you must see is this. Her words were never meant for you. They were meant to cover the scent of instinct. She speaks of love, but her choices howl. Her perfume hides the scent of prey and predator. And you were the only one who believed she was just human. You gave her everything, but she only remembers the man who gave her nothing. Somewhere, she's still smiling, but not at you, not at anyone, just into the mirror, admiring how well the mask fits. You hear her laughter in the distance light, disarming, practiced, a perfume of sound, but beneath it, there is no voice, only echo. And you, now stripped of illusion, finally stand where she once stood inside silence. No more questions, no more games, just the quiet truth. She was never confused. She was simply committed to a truth she never spoke, the animal truth. The unuttered scream beneath civility. You wanted to be loved. She needed to feel powerless before a man who wouldn't bend, and you bent. So she broke you, not by accident, but by instinct.